Sometimes, heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes, they ride in a world that's forgotten how to stop and care. Kindness has become a rare language. But every now and then, life throws a moment at us. A split second where our choice defines who we are. Some walk past pain. Some look away. And a rare few, stop, turn the engine, and decide to make a difference. That afternoon, the city was still. The sun burned above cracked asphalt, and the wind whispered through empty streets that had seen too much indifference. Somewhere in that quiet, a trembling boy stood alone. His small hands shook, his eyes wide with fear, a fear too heavy for his little frame to carry. His sister was gone. A dark van, 2 men, and no one stopped. But fate did. Fate came wearing leather, roaring on 2 wheels, covered in scars and stories the world never bothered to ask about. Fate had tattoos, a rough voice, and a name. Ryder Hale. He wasn't a saint. He wasn't gentle. But deep inside that hardened soul burned a light that even the darkest roads couldn't dim. And on that day, when a child's desperate voice cracked through the silence, Ryder listened. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't wait for sirens. He just turned the key, and the world changed. Because sometimes, it's not angels with wings who save lives. Sometimes, it's angels with engines. The engines hadn't roared yet. The street was quiet, unnervingly so, with the pale afternoon sun painting long shadows over cracked sidewalks. Dust swirled lazily in the still air. The world seemed frozen in that moment between calm and chaos. A small boy stood at the edge of the curb, clutching the hem of his oversized gray hoodie. His eyes, wide, red, and glistening, were the kind that had seen something no child should ever see. Ryder Hale knelt in front of him, the asphalt warm under his knee. Tattoos of skulls and wings coiled down his scarred arms, each one a mark from a life lived fast and rough. His leather vest bore the Hell's Angels insignia, bold, defiant, and misunderstood by most. Behind him, 5 other bikers stood like silent sentinels, their shadows long and still. The boy's voice broke through the silence, barely above a whisper. "They took my sister." Ryder's jaw clenched. Around him, the air thickened. His brothers, men who had faced bar fights, crashes, and cops, now stood frozen, struck by something deeper than fear. A child's cry for help had pierced through the walls they had built around their hearts. Ryder rose slowly, the black leather of his vest creaking as he did. He placed a heavy, calloused hand on the boy's shoulder. "Tell me everything, son. Start from the beginning." The boy, Evan, took a shaky breath. His words came out in stutters, scattered between sobs. His sister, Mara, 12 years old, had been taken near the park an hour ago. A dark van, 2 men. He had screamed until his throat burned, chased until his legs gave out. But no one stopped. No one helped. The police hadn't even shown up yet. He'd run through half the town before finding the line of motorcycles parked outside the diner. He didn't know who they were. He just knew he had to T-R-Y.B.Y. the time he finished. Ryder's eyes were steel. His brothers didn't need orders, they could read it in his face. A single nod was enough. He turned toward them and said just 2 words. Asterisk, asterisk, we ride. Engines thundered to life, shattering the quiet. The air trembled under the deep growl of power and purpose. Evan gasped as Ryder lifted him gently, placing him on the back of his Harley. "Hold tight, kid." And then they were gone. An army of engines slicing through the streets, the sound echoing like a storm rolling in from the horizon. Curtains lifted in nearby houses. Dogs barked. People paused mid-step. The Hell's Angels were flying again. They rode in perfect formation, a wall of chrome and grit, down Main Street and onto Route 9. Ryder's phone buzzed in his vest pocket. It was Vince, a contact who ran a repair shop and knew everything that happened in their town. "Black van, Route 9, heading toward the docks," Vince said. 2 guys, no plates. Ryder didn't waste a breath. He revved the throttle, signaling the others. The group swerved off the main road, cutting through traffic like a pack of wolves chasing scent. The air smelled of heat, oil, and adrenaline. When they reached the industrial district, the world seemed to hold its breath. The warehouses loomed like giants, their metal walls rusted and silent. Then there it was, a black van, parked crooked near the old loading bay. Its back doors hung slightly open. Ryder cut his engine. The others followed, silence falling like a blade. Somewhere inside, they heard it, faint, fragile. A girl's muffled cry. Ryder's pulse steadied. He didn't bark commands. He didn't have to. His men spread out, moving with lethal precision, years of loyalty in every step. He walked straight toward the van. The first man stepped out from behind it, tattooed arms, sneering face, but that sneer vanished when he saw the wall of bikers closing in. The man tried to run. He didn't make it 2 steps. One of the bikers grabbed him, slammed him against the hood, while another yanked open the van's door. Inside, Mara sat huddled, wrists tied, eyes wide with terror. Ryder stepped closer, his voice low but steady. "It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe now." He cut her ropes, lifted her gently out, and set her on the ground. The moment her feet touched the pavement, Evan ran forward, crying her name. They collided in a tight embrace, small arms clutching tight, tears soaking into each other's shoulders, and no one spoke. Not the bikers, not Ryder. The only sound was the quiet sobbing of 2 children who had just found the world again. When the police sirens finally wailed in the distance, Ryder motioned to his men. They stepped back, hands raised, letting the officers take over. The police didn't understand what had just happened. They saw tattoos, leather, and loud engines. Not the silent grace that had saved a life. But Ryder didn't care. He wasn't here for recognition. As the cops took statements and paramedics checked the kids, Ryder walked to his bike. He glanced once more at the siblings, Evan waving with a tear-streaked face, Mara clutching his hand. Their mother arrived moments later, collapsing to her knees in gratitude. Ryder nodded once. That was enough. They rode away as the sun began to fall, engines echoing through the streets like thunder fading into peace. Later, when the bikes were parked and the helmets came off, the men sat quietly outside Ryder's house. No celebration, no beer, just silence. Ryder leaned against his bike, staring at the horizon. "No one should ever feel alone in this world," he said finally. "Not a kid. Not ever." The others nodded. No words were needed. That night, as the city lights flickered to life, Evan and Mara sat at home, safe, while their mother whispered prayers of thanks to strangers she'd never meet again. And somewhere across town, Ryder Hale lay back in his chair, eyes closed, the ghost of a smile on his lips. He'd done a lot of things in life, some good, some bad, but today he knew one thing for sure. The world might judge them by their leather, but the angels had earned their name. If the story touched your heart, share it. Because kindness doesn't always come from the gentle or the holy. Sometimes it comes roaring down the street, loud, fearless, and wrapped in leather. ***, kindness doesn't need perfection. It just needs action. ***.